What do you think about the decentralization of even movie watching? Now you can watch it on Hulu. You could watch Netflix. When we was coming up, I remember when the TV used to turn off at 12 o'clock in the bars.
They start off with the national anthem, go up, and then
at like 4 or 5. Right? So I'm saying, we remember that. Then I remember HBO and Showtime and Cinemax coming, then VCRs, and now we're at the point where you have Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, and it's all kind of different ways and different places you can watch movies. Is that good or is that bad? And I want to ask you because now we don't have a shared experience. Me and your generation, we grew up off of Good Times and Fred Sanford and stuff like that. This generation, they got 10,000 channels. So it's possible that nobody in the room grew up off the same shows.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I think it's good. I think that part is good. I'm not against distribution because, that just gives the next filmmaker a chance to get their work out there, because that's all we want to do is like be able to see it, as opposed to us just playing it on our own computer. We want to see it. We want other people to see it. That's one of the first thoughts you have, So I'm not against all the distributions, but what needs to be talked about is, what are we writing, and why are we writing it? So if you want to go and show the sideshow, what else? So are we showing that the dude that created the certain tires to not burn off on the sideshow is now a super mechanic, and he now is an engineer and he can figure out how to make better tires for the sideshow, so you don't have to pay, go to the spot in the morning to get new tires. You know what I mean? It's like,
think deeper.
Yeah.
Think deeper than just sideshows and spinning.
It's okay for the sideshow,
but you talking about the depth of the story.
Yeah, I'm talking about the top. I'm talking about think deeper.
For somebody that's trying to put out a film today, what do you recommend they do? Somebody that's watching this is a filmmaker and they haven't been in any festivals, they don't have a product. What is it that they should do? How do you recommend going about chasing your dream in 2021? 2022, I should say.
Because of the YouTube and the other outlets that show documentaries of former filmmakers or filmmakers how to do it, go and Google it, figure out how to make it, and then go make it by any means. If you're working, save your money, write your script. If you don't know how to...
Well, let me ask you a concept. You said save your money.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, do you spend your money cheaply, or are you very frugal? Or do you look at it like, I'm gonna dump whatever I have to dump in it to make sure the best product, because as you learn in the streets of Oakland, good dope sell itself. So what is your philosophy? Are you more or less being cheap and, trying to find the best price to do everything, or are you just a money dumper?
No, I'm not a money dumper. I'm trying to find the best. So that's kind of not fair, because now I know what to expect. I know that you're going to end up spending more money in post-production than you do for pre-production.
If you do what?
What you mean?
If you're saying you're going to spend money more, you're just saying in general.
No, I'm saying in general. If you probably spend more money in post-production, editing the film, sound design, music score. You might spend more there than you do as opposed to making the film. So I'm coming to that question with bias, having had the experience, knowing now that if a filmmaker wants to make his first film, and let's say he has, a couple hundred or a couple thousand or whatever, what you want to do is figure out like really how to make a film. Do your research on how to make a film. Just go and find out how to make a film. Go listen to some interviews and ask some questions before you do it. Once you see how you got to do it, okay, I got to write the script. I got to have auditions and actors. I got to get locations. I got to get equipment. I got to get crew, or I'm going to do it myself. Figure out your strategy. And then, okay, so here's the last day of filming. Now I got it all in the can. I filmed everything I wanted to film. Now I got to edit it. Okay, I'm going to edit myself, I'm going to get an editor. Oh, now in my research, I figured out that I got to do sound design. Okay, so within my research, I figured out that when I say quiet on the set, there's a reason for that, because I can't allow the other sounds to come in. When I cut the angles, I don't hear the same dog, or a dog is barking on this angle, but a dog ain't barking on that angle. So since that's the case, then when the sound design comes, I got to put the dog sound in on the second angle. You know, so that's the science that you got to figure out once you do your, you know what I mean? You'll find it out as you do more. But, you know, when it comes down to actual filming, and you know, to answer your question, it's like, you know, the money you spend, I'll just say like this, break it up in fourths. Your pre-production, have a budget for your pre-production, get the location, locking it down. If you got to get some permits, if you got to pay the actors, if you got to pay the crew their half rate, or okay, I'm gonna pay you up front right now, half. And then that quarter, now is the actual production. I gotta feed you. I gotta pay for that location. I gotta pay for that sound. I gotta pay for that. That third is okay. So we're finishing up on filming. So now I can finish paying that first payment, you know, and then the last payment is post-production, editing, sound design, music. I gotta go back and reshoot something. I gotta get some exterior shots to cover up the shit that, you know what I mean, to cover up stuff that, you know, shit you really need to trip on. Make sure you have budgets for, you know. And then at fifth, if you got enough, the premiere, the film festivals, the marketing.
Well, that brings me to my next question. What is the importance of something like that? Me and you have also been members of the board of the Oakland International Film Festival. Mm-hmm. What is the importance of a film festival? A lot of people are, you know, they watch films at their house, they go to movies, but they never understood what is the purpose for a filmmaker for a film festival.
That's a great question. I think that the reason for that is the first, like, now you get to see it. Now you get to see if what all you thought about worked. You know.
But you'll be able to see that on a regular theater, right?
Yeah, that too. But the festival, you know, allows you to bring the crew, you know, bring the actors, you know, let them see the film, let them see themselves, let the crew see their work. But for you as the director and producer, you know, you want to see if, you know, if it all really, you know, did you hit the points? Because after that, you're like, oh shit, now we gotta go back and shoot something, or I want to change the edit, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, to each his own. That's my personal thing at a festival, is just to see if it worked.
What's some of your favorite films?
Oh man,
Give us 3 of them, and why? You like Miss Love Got to Do It? You like Miss Spook Who Sat by the Door?
Oh man, I mean,
Battle of Algiers. What you like out there?
Right now, I would always say Touch of Evil by Orson Welles.
Okay.
I would always say Raging Bull.
Orson Welles.
I would always say Mo Better.
Mo Better.
Mo Better makes it Mo Better.
So break them down. Why did you?
Mo Better,
Why do you pick each of those? Like as a film head, we want to see what is it that you see in each of those.
For A Touch of Evil, Orson Welles, I would first initially say Citizen Kane, but I think Touch of Evil was a little bit more dirtier for me, and it's like that opening shot was just like, wow, man, like he had the whole one shot. There was no edits until the explosion. Then as soon as the explosion happened in the car, you know, he cuts to, you know, the star, and, you know, so just how he set that up and the choreography he had within that first shot. The first shot was like maybe about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. But that first shot, just the choreography he had, you know, building up to the scene and building up to the car exploding. That was just amazing to me. I was like, whoa, this is I was bugging out on that shit. Mm-hmm. And then Raging Bull, the fight scenes, how De Niro prepared for that, that film taught me how to talk to actors, how to speak to actors, how to get them prepared for a role, and what I learned about him and how he prepared for that role, and just the continuity of how that character built himself, and just how he looked, you know, from being in shape boxer to the retired boxer, and just that whole how what I learned about how that whole film was brought together, and how he developed, and it was just amazing, and how he covered it in black and white, and just things like, I love noir, I love black and white, you know, so just how that was covered, I can go on and on about that film. And then Mo Better, I love jazz, you know, so it was more than just Denzel to me. It was like the jazz itself, and then just like the vibe of the jazz that was in that film was amazing.
I've never seen the film, but I've seen I seen how it was kind of
get out of here.
I seen how it was shot, and it reminds me of the recent film, the James Baldwin film that they put out recently. It's not about James Baldwin, but about one of his books.
I'm Not Your Negro?
No, the one after that.
Oh, okay.
The one after that. Not I'm Not Your Negro. The one, it's not Blues People. It's the one where the lady, her dude is going to court or something like that, and damn, it's a James Baldwin book.
Okay.
But anyway, it was shot with such colors. I was wondering if you've seen it because of how it was shot with the colors. But that even brings me to another one then, because I can back it up. What did you think about the making of Belly? Because it was made somewhat like a music video, and with you being a music video man and a director and doing film, why was that movie special, or did it inspire you, or what did you see in that movie, and why do filmmakers like that movie?
I think for me, Hype was the director of that, and him and I was directing music videos at the same time. So again, like, I saw Spike Lee, I saw Hype kind of the same way, to where it's like, oh man, he's the first of my peers to make a movie. And I was like, whoa, okay. So it's really possible now to transition from music videos to films. So I love the film. Outright.
He did that before you did Black August?
Yes, he did.
How many, when was Black August? What year was that?
2007, 2008.
And so Belly was what? Was it late 90s or early 2000s?
Early 2000, maybe, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a few years.
Yeah. It was
Decades.
around the same time. But it was just the fact that, you know, this is what you do after you do music videos. That's how I got it. You know, like, okay, that's the transition.
What about the movie? Because I remember the opening scene when they walked through the club with those eyes. And that even tripped me out. Yeah, that was a whole opening scene.
Yeah.
I mean, and I even remember being in the theater like, how they gonna justify their eyes being like this? But it wasn't even about that.
It wasn't about that.
And then, or how greasy,
that was the music video part of it, though.
or how greasy Keisha was.
Right, that wasn't about that. It was the stylization. It was the music video. He was letting us know that, okay, music video directors, all y'all that's doing it right now with me, this is what we doing next. You know, and it's okay to bring what you know to the big screen, because this is how we doing music videos. So we were all like, okay, cool. So again, Darren Grant, he didn't do a film like that, but he did Medea's first movie, The Diary of a Black Man. You know, Darren Grant came from music videos and went off and did that. So it's like, you know, he just gave the green light for us to say, okay, we can go and make movies now, you know, and that was like, right on, salute, Hype, you know. So the movie itself, though, was, you know, it's a cult classic in a sense, you know. The style, it was Hype's. You look at his work prior to that, it's the same, you know. He just put it on pages now, you know, but it's the same.
But explain to us why you thought it was great. How did it move? Is it just the aesthetic of it, or did you like how it moved, or is it the updated nature of a gangster flick, or you know, I mean, because it was a gangster
Yeah,
flick,
it was.
but it wasn't Boys in the Hood. But at that time, Boys in the Hood wasn't Scarface.
But also look at who directed Boys in the Hood, though.
Singleton, right?
Yeah,
Was it Singleton?
yeah. You know, so he was also hip hop. He had done a couple. I think he had done maybe 1 or 2 music videos from that. You know, Gary Gray.
Set it off. Gary Gray.
He did music videos, you know, so it was that, you know, again, he was another one who was like, okay, bros, we about to move off and do movies now. It's our time, you know, so we were all like thinking the same way as like, okay, so once we get to a certain point with these music videos, movies is the next movie.